Evident Proof is going to talk about how blockchain guarantees the truth. So, okay, let's welcome Evident Proof with a big round of applause.
Can everyone hear me okay? Excellent. I'm just going to put my water down over here. So my name's Adrian Clarke. I'm from a company called Evident Proof, which is a distributed blockchain-based database that we've built. I left Microsoft as CTO and Innovation Director UK to build this with the team you'll see over there in the centre who are holding their hands up. If you've got any questions after the presentation, direct it to myself or them. Okay, in a distributed world where you can't trust everyone, how do you separate truth from lies? This is a problem which individuals face every day and corporations face 1 million times a day in some cases. We've got some examples here of things that have actually happened in the world which have delivered a lot of damage or a lot of financial loss because people couldn't separate the truth from a lie. Evident Proof is a company which is all about truth. We value the truth. We think it's incredibly important, and we've built a platform which will enable people in the future and currently, because we have clients using the platform live at the moment, to disseminate, to tell the difference between something that's real and something that isn't real, or misinformation. A couple of examples here. Apparently 29% of US adults ended up believing that President Obama was born abroad. That could have been avoided. This is, I think, quite an amusing example of a mistruth. This chap, Ken, for 3 decades, produced hundreds or possibly even thousands of fake artworks, sold some of them for up to $700,000 each. The guy must have made a fortune out of being able to swindle people because they couldn't tell the difference between fake and real provenance for artworks. And coincidentally, we have a client in the UK on Evident Proof that is building a digital art provenance platform that will mean this will never be able to happen in the future. Manufactured goods. Okay, this is a good example. Fake medications are supposed to kill up to 700,000 people a year. Costs manufacturers over $1 trillion a year. Again, this is something that could be avoided if you were able to deliver accurate, immutable provenance on supply chain and supply chain management. Our solution will also help with this. Volkswagen. They were able to swindle and mislead an entire industry about the emissions of their exhausts. Here's a much smaller example, but potentially quite amusing. A Chinese tourist is supposed to have paid over £7,000 for 1 dram, 1 drink of whiskey from a bottle that was fake. If he'd been able to check that bottle online through a blockchain-based provenance system, he probably would have known better. So the solution. As I said, Evident Proof, we're a company based in the UK, we're here today. We've built a platform that runs on private and blockchain simultaneously. We've invented a proprietary piece of IP that sits on top of those, and we proved in the UK at a public offer and a court level that the certificates that can be produced once a client or an individual has stored data in our platform are so robust in terms of their immutability, they can be taken to court and used as evidence in civil or criminal courts. One example of that is a manufacturing client we've got that produces respirators. There are a lot of respirators being produced in the world which are actually counterfeit and have inferior, sometimes very inferior filters in them. People are buying them in good faith. When they're using them, they end up with lung injuries. Our client now stores all of their manufacturing data on our platform, enabling the people that are buying their respirators to check whether it's a real one or a fake one. They have to suffer an awful lot of legal cases. They get sued a lot when these injuries occur through the purchase of the fake respirators, they can now prove to the client very quickly, within seconds, that the respirator they bought was either never in their manufacturing chain, or there was one with the same serial number, and it's either not been manufactured yet, or it's been used by company XYZ in Germany for the last 6 months, so it was never in Taiwan. The case never goes to court. This is basically a very simple example of how the platform works. As I said, we can take in any form of data, whether it's an individual's data to do with some money they've loaned someone, or a car accident they've had, to very complex sets of data from businesses who need to prove a bundle of events. What will happen is, if you look at the top left-hand blue box, we can take in all types of data, goes into an engine on the evident proof platform that creates a verification bundle for that data, puts it into a format that can be reissued later on in a proof certificate to prove that an event or a series of data events, for example, if you were manufacturing a bicycle and you had to prove that it was all sourced from one particular country, then that is one verification bundle, all of the parts that go into that bicycle. It then goes into the evident proof data seals engine, gets sealed. The seals are stored on public and private blockchain. The end user is then issued proof seals, receipts, and tokens. When the end user, and again it could be an individual or a corporation, puts data into the system, the evident proof engine uses that data. It generates an Ethereum ERC-20 token, as well as a receipt. They own the receipt, they own the token. The tokens are used within our business model to pay for data transactions, reports, and proof certificates. So it's a utility-based token. Again, at the bottom, the clients can request proof certificates themselves, or if they need to prove something to a third party, a court, or an insurance company, or an auditor, they can give us permission using their receipt and their ID to show that token or to give it direct to a third party. So the proof certificates can either go direct to the client or straight to a trusted third party. I think this is an interesting fact, or something that is becoming fact. Various sources at the moment are saying that the data industry is now worth more than the oil industry. We operate in the data industry. And if you look at the graph, the blue parts of the bars are unstructured data. There's a massive growth in unstructured data around the world at the moment. It's growing exponentially. A lot of that data has proof, verification and structuring requirements around it, and a lot of people aren't able to do that at the moment. Traditional databases can be hacked, they can be deleted, the logs can be changed retrospectively. They're not a good source of information, not when it really counts. As I said earlier, I think there's a growing need for compliance. There are more and more data standards emerging in the world every year, and the existing ones are getting stricter and stricter. The onus on company directors and managers to make sure that they've complied with those standards now no longer resides in terms of responsibility and liability within the business itself. They carry personal liability, financial liability. They need a platform like this that will enable them to prove that they've managed that data in the correct way. We have a very experienced team. Some of us have built and sold businesses before. A couple of us are ex-Microsoft. Matt Roden, our CTO over there, and ourselves, we've got decades of experience of building enterprise scalable platforms, ones which run in multiple languages and are hosted on data centers around the world. And I repeat, it's a working platform. It's not an MVP. It's working, it's got clients on it and some global names. And I said it would be short and sweet, it is. I think we've got time for some questions. Am I allowed to take questions?
Well, actually, the Times tells us that it's time to
Oh, okay.
wrap up.
I've talked for longer than I thought. If there are any questions, the team's sitting over there, or you can come and find me afterwards. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Evident Proof, for your presentation.